Welcome to the GHQ Crew podcast, where if you want to go to college, you better stop hoping and get your tail end to the Permian Basin Junior Open. Welcome back to the crew. Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a few weeks, but hey, there's been a lot moving here at the shop. There's been a lot of stuff grooving and moving, but today is a special show because we're quickly approaching. We're 2 weeks out.
2 weeks. Yeah, a little less than 2 weeks, actually.
We're quickly approaching a very special tournament, the first of its kind in West Texas, the Pioneering Tournament in West Texas, for college hopefuls that are really interested in playing the next level of golf from high school. And this tournament's going to give them an avenue to learn all about it. Also, meet and greet with some coaches.
College coaches.
And
Top college coach from top programs.
College coaches.
And possibly pin their way.
Oh, yeah. And just wait. Massive news.
Okay.
For this tournament. Brandon has gone to the next level.
Okay.
Clinton. He lost his mind.
How did he lose his mind? Well, I think
I'm going to let him say it.
I think they're used to people losing their mind on these videos and the podcast. So this is par for the course.
Yep.
But welcome back. We're glad to see you. And today's going to be a great episode. What do we got, Jared?
Well, we have the one, the only Brandon Darnold from Andrews, Texas. He's ready to talk about this Permian Basin Junior Open. And by the way, a lot of people are saying this is going to be the greatest tournament that's ever been done as far as junior tournaments in West Texas. And I agree.
Yeah.
Brandon, what's up, bro?
I've heard that a lot. They really are.
A lot of people are saying it, man. It's going to be awesome. So we have December the 14th and 15th. You were telling me before we got going here, 54 kiddos are signed up for this thing?
Yep.
You got to be kidding me.
No, it's been great.
Holy cow. 54 participants already. So, Brandon, are we done there, or are we still accepting applications? What are we doing?
We're full on the tournament.
Tournament's full.
Yep, tournament's full.
Okay.
Just on this first one, we're going to be playing 36 holes in a day, and we're fighting darkness. So, we've got to keep it to a minimum on this first one. As we move it, this will be an annual deal, and we'll move it to the summer. We'll be able to take, unlimited. My hope, and can it happen? I don't know, but it'll never happen if there's no vision. But the vision for this tournament in the future is for this thing to be as big as the Texas-Oklahoma tournament, which is huge junior tournament that they hold in Wichita Falls. And they use up 2 courses. And so that's my hope for the vision for the future. Will it get to that point? I don't know, but I think it can be. Just because nobody's doing what we're doing. I mean, what we've put together here is, it's unlike any other junior tournament that we've been to or seen or.
Yeah, that's really what I wanted to really hit home with people on, man, is first of all, and I know you don't want this. I know this is at the heart of it, but folks, what Brandon has done here is unprecedented, and it's just unbelievably cool, man. What you've done for these kids and their parents, setting this up, giving this opportunity to the kids in West Texas. And by the way, if you're not a college coach that's coming to participate, you're just wrong. There are some unbelievable kids, unbelievable talents that are coming to this. So if you're a college coach out there and you're going, wait, what am I missing? Why am I wrong?
Yeah,
right? You need to call Brandon right now.
Yeah. We're still looking for a few coaches too. We've got 8 and I'd like to at least get 10.
Yeah.
I think that for the clinic portion, it puts us at, 5-6 kids per coach and on a station, short game, different things.
Oh, cool. So you're going to run it like that.
Yeah, they're gonna learn from these coaches at the clinic. Short game practice, putting drills. Just what does a college golf practice look like? And so
Cool.
these college golf coaches, they are going to be bringing some form of a drill, of a practice, aspect to this. And the thought is to put 5-6 kids with each coach and make it manageable where they're not overrun with a ton of kids, and then just rotate them around as different stations. That's kind of the thought behind it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but now the tournament's going to be for 14 and over, right?
Absolutely.
And then so we still have room for parents to sign their kiddos up for that portion as well.
For the clinic, and then also included in the clinic, that this will be day one. So we'll go through that skill station clinic portion, instruction from those coaches, and then we'll break for lunch and eat, and then as soon as we get done with lunch, we will we'll roll right into the college golf recruiting forum. That's going to be everything college golf recruiting. First of all, how to put a resume together, how to look up these coaches, how to find them, how to find their email addresses, what do you need to be sending them, swing videos, tournament scores, tournament, all those things. What do they want to hear from you? I mean, they don't want a 10-page dissertation on why you shot, 80 because you had an ingrown toenail and the wind was blowing.
Right.
They don't want to know that. But, I mean, there's some certain things that they want to know, and it probably needs to be short and sweet, because this is the other thing that, I always go back to this is you don't know what you don't know. And when we started this process, Sis and I, we didn't know what we didn't know. Artie Rodriguez, very dear friend to me, helped me get started. And then I had to dig a lot of it out too. But I mean, Artie Rodriguez was instrumental in helping us. He had already put a daughter through college playing golf, and so he knew some things. And Riley, who is also coming to the event, she's going to speak there at the college golf recruiting forum
awesome
too. So super excited about that. Anyway, when I go back to you don't know what you don't know, these coaches are getting at least 10 emails a day. 10. So, like, they don't have to. First of all, they don't need a 10-page dissertation on your round. Like, they're just not going to take the time to read that because they just can't. They've got 10 emails to get through each day. Maybe some are getting more. So it needs to be kind of short and to the point. And we're going to highlight those things that they want to hear, they want to see, they want to know.
But it's also about frequency, right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to check back in. If you didn't hear something back,
If you don't
keep going.
check back in, guess what? You've just crossed yourself off their list, because they don't have to recruit you. Because, I mean, they're getting 10 emails a day.
and
So-
that's probably low.
That probably is low.
That's probably low, especially for some of the more popular golf programs, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got to be thinking some of those coaches
Maybe
are
getting
getting
15, 20, maybe
Yeah.
30. Who knows? But I mean, at the very minimum, they're getting 10 emails a day. And if you're not staying in constant contact with those guys, and I'm not talking about every day, but once or twice a month, 3 times a month, sending them different things, updates, invites to your tournaments, you're behind. Like, and it's easy to get lost in the mix. You have to do the things to separate yourself. When they're getting 10 emails a day, you have to stay on their radar, so to speak.
I got a question, because this, you know how my crazy brain works, right? I'm just nutty, but I'm sitting here wondering if you did something in an email that said, "Hey, listen, I'd really love you to come to this tournament. If you can't come to this tournament, hey, my dad's a great cook. He'll cook us some ribs. Whatever. You can come to the house.
Yeah.
If you don't want to come to the house, eat dinner. Hey, do something that makes you stand out.
Absolutely.
Right? And I don't know, maybe that's ridiculous, but I mean, I would do anything to try to get them to come. In other words, you have to create some kind of differentiation factor, right? That separates you from the pack. And I always think those little, some little tasteful, funny, classy kind of, something to make them laugh.
Something out of the norm.
Exactly. That nobody else would put on there.
They're getting the same 10 emails every day.
I mean, I know as a coach, right? If I was looking through those, I would be going, okay, about email 5. Okay, I'm done for today. I'm gonna go and coach my team now, or go on to the next task. But if I'm going through emails and I get that one that makes me kind of chuckle or makes me go, man, I like this kid.
Right.
I think that's the key, right?
And that's a big part of the recruiting too. Is that we found out is it's not just about tournament scores and those things, but I mean they want kids that are going to be good teammates, that are outgoing, that are not going to be a bump on a log, have a bad round. I mean that this is literally going to be your family.
High character.
For the next 4 years. And so can you get in they're going to be trapped in a bus with you driving or a van driving to the next tournament. And if you're not easy to get along with, that it doesn't matter really what you shoot. They don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's, to your point, a kid that maybe sends an email that's funny, like that might be the thing that spark, like coach is like, hey man, this dude would fit in great with our kids.
Right.
Because he's funny, because just that one thing that separates, but it's definitely about separating yourself from the masses because, they're just kind of getting the same emails every day.
I think it goes a long way though, and coaches can read that. And I mean, just because normal human beings can read when there's confidence. It's not just a generic email. Hi, I'm interested in your program. Here's some videos, but it's real personable and there's some confidence portrayed through the writing of the email. I think that goes a long way for a coach's perspective to say, like, I want to meet this kid.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, here's what's interesting, right? And this is a little off topic, but I think it is relevant because I think this is a huge question. And Z and I were talking, we went to the UT A&M game, which was awesome, by the way. You and I were just talking about it as a Texas fan. You're happy.
Was the stadium shaking?
Oh,
I bet it was.
Dude, there was 109,000 people there, Clinton. And I am telling you right now, there was not an empty seat. I got some cool videos I'll show you.
I text Z at the beginning when I said, I think A&M has the best entrance into a college football game.
Oh, dude.
Than anybody. Yeah. And I asked him, I said, was the stadium shaking?
Yes.
That's so wild.
Dude, I'll tell you this. We were on level 300, okay? And you could feel it moving.
Ooh.
Like you could feel it moving.
That's crazy.
When people were jumping up and down, that just said, yeah.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was just going crazy, right? But I digress. Okay. Probably
Electric.
Electric's the word. You can feel it in your bones. In fact, I told this story twice. I said, I've had the most amazing opportunity to go to the Big House, right? Big U of M fan, people know that. Which, by the way, I just want to throw this out there. We did beat Ohio State.
You did.
We did beat Ohio State. Thought we were going to get rolled. But you know what? We did not. We showed up at the shoe and smoked them like a ham, and it was great. But what was really interesting is I told this story to a couple Aggie fans while we were there. I told it twice, actually. I said, I've had the great opportunity to go to the Big House and experience that, and it's like nothing I've ever experienced, right? Because it's an incredible stadium. There's 111,000, 112,000 people there. It's just insane, right? You're shoulder to shoulder. And it, too, is electric in its own way. But as we were leaving the first time, my wife and I were the last people in the stadium, and she said, well, what'd you think? And I said, well, this was easily up there as one of the best days of my entire life. I said, but I've been sitting here thinking as we've walked through the stadium, we were the last two people walking out the little gate. And I went, honey, I'm going to tell you, of all the stadiums in all the world I've ever been to, this one was way up there. It's actually number 2 on my list. And she went, number 2? I thought this place was awesome. And I was like, yeah, but there's one better. And that's Kyle Field.
Yeah.
I said, Kyle Field, you can feel it in your bones,
Yeah.
dude. The electricity in there was insane.
Watching it on TV, you can feel it in your bones.
Oh, it's just insane, man. And I'll tell you something Texas did about midway through the first quarter. They took the fans out of the game. They really did.
They
It got
kinda did.
really quiet. And I've never seen that place like that. It was like this feeling of like, oh, crap. Texas is actually really good, right? And
Little
when
Dennis Green.
A&M,
They are who we thought they were.
yeah, exactly, right. But kind of getting back on track here, the point I'm making is this, and I asked Z on the way home, I said, here's what I just cannot get my head around. I said, I have yet to go to a game. I've been to 3 games there now. I watched them play Bama and get just absolutely demolished. Yeah, Roll Tide just rolled them Aggies up pretty good. I think Mika Fitzpatrick had 3 picks by himself that game. It was unreal. Couldn't understand why the Ags weren't playing Kyler Murray at the time. Of course, he ended up transferring the next year because of that, I think. He got in for a little bit through a tremendous pass, and I was like, there's your guy. Why aren't we playing him? Right? But I'm sitting here and I'm asking Z this question on the way home. I said, man, I said, at Michigan, there's a culture, and we're going to line up, and it's about will. We're going to push you back, and we're going to run that ball. That's what we're going to do.
It's going to grind you.
Right? On defense, we're going to push you into the backfield, and we're going to get your quarterback, or we're going to stop your run.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do. Okay? Texas A&M, their culture is so fascinating to me because the fan base never leaves, bro.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
They're there all the time, right? They're there all the time. Every game. Doesn't matter if they're 10-1 or 1-10. That place is going to be sold out. They're going to be rocking and rolling. The boy cheerleaders are going to be doing their thing, right? The whole night, right? You were talking about that, right? I had to get it in there.
I love it.
You know I had to get it in
I
there.
love it.
But anyway,
When I started talking about it, Z was getting a little upset.
he was getting big mad.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, well, okay, yeah,
You ever
well,
been?
yeah,
I would never go.
yeah.
Sorry.
You know,
Not for that.
and they do all this. Yeah, what does whoop mean? In fact, my cousin, he's a big UT fan. Excuse me, I have now changed how I'm going to say that. TU fan, Texas University, not University of Texas. And by the way, fun fact: A&M was the first Texas university.
Okay.
Wait,
That is true.
it's UT though.
Not according to A&M.
Oh,
It is TU.
yeah.
which not
They
University
are-
of Tennessee.
They're not the University of Texas. They are a university in Texas.
Oh, I
Texas University, right?
I see.
And because A&M was the first.
Okay.
A&M was the first. And it started out as it was a public university, but it was an all male military institute. And then it transformed to what it is today, more of an agricultural and name me an engineering guy that's not from there, right? It'd be like they pump out a bunch of those guys, but I digress. Here's my point. There's this cultural thing for their football team in which they keep going back to. And it hasn't mattered really who they bring in. R.C. Slocum, you could argue, had this time frame, right, where he had changed the culture. They're going to be defensive oriented and tough and, that's type of thing, right? But there's this cultural thing, and it's almost like mediocrity. Like, it's just, it is what it is, but they're still going to be there cheering. But, dude, I've never seen something as sad as what I saw as we were leaving. 109,000 and we'll just say 105,000 of them were Aggies, leaving the stadium, and they were just shoulders down, man, we lost. But it wasn't like unexpected, if that makes sense, right? It wasn't an angry thing. It was oh man, figured that would happen. And it always keeps happening. Like year after year, it happened with Jimbo, it happened with Elko, it happened with Sumlin, right? There's just this cultural thing that they're just kind of middle of the road. And I don't know what that is. I think a guy like Dan Campbell could come in and change that culture and make it a winning mindset, as an expectation to win, not just be there. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I think from the recruitment side, getting back to what we're talking about, I think that's a way you have to pitch yourself, right? I think that's a way to differentiate yourself, is being a good culture guy, being a guy that's going to bring a positivity to the culture. And I think if you can, send that message through the recruiting, whether it's through a funny joke or whether it's through being, tell them how team orientated you are.
Right.
Tell them how you love being part of, golf is an individual sport, but not in college and high school, bro. It is a team sport.
Absolutely.
And you have to make that known, right? You have to make that known that you want to be a culture changer. You want to be that guy. And I think it's just a cool way to kind of think about that. And I think a lot of coaches out there could get down with that.
Yeah. I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you think about the great golf programs in the country, Oklahoma State's the one that comes to mind right away, right? Sure. They're good every year, but it's an expectation. It's a cultural thing. Like, you're not going to come here and not do your thing.
Right.
If you're going to come here, you're going to play.
You're going to be a high character individual.
High character, right? You're going to have a belief system. Sure. Right? You're going to be a great teammate.
You're going to have a great work ethic. You're
going to play your tail off.
That's right.
You're not going to quit.
You're going to know how to practice by yourself. You're going to, it's just all the small little, something that I'm not a Alabama fan, but Nick Saban is maybe the greatest of all time coach.
I think he is personally, but yeah.
And so if you look at Alabama and what they've become this year, and I mean, it's not even remotely close. This is 1 year removed, right? I seen a video the other day about some of the players were talking about getting back to fixing the small details, and it's about those small details, tucking your shirt in, those things. When I said all that to say this, like, you go to Oklahoma State, it's about those small details. They're looking for those kids that are doing all those things on their own already. So when they get there, it's a smooth transition.
Yep. I would take it this far in my recruitment, emails or even conversations through phone call or what have you. I would tell them, here's how I start every day. I would send them a video of a workout regimen. I would also send them a video of a practice regimen. And I would send them a video of, maybe maybe my mom or dad taking photos or videos of me actually playing in a tournament round. And I would specifically look for bad shots and my reaction to those bad shots, right? Yep. Like, it's those types of things. It's okay to not be perfect.
And they know you're passionate.
Right.
But, I mean, they don't want to see you throwing a club out there and acting a fool.
That's right,
either.
Man.
Like, then
put that club in that bag and go on to the next shot.
Go to the next shot. How are you going to recover?
That's right. So I'll be interested to see how much of that kind of concept comes up. And I would encourage anybody watching this that's taking your kid, ask those types of questions.
Absolutely.
Bring that type of thing up, man.
Well, that and another big key important factor, there's a YouTube channel that goes into the college programs and films videos with the coaches and their practice facility. And one of the biggest things that I saw that made the program successful is that the coach had equity with the kids. And by that, I mean, he invested in their lives outside of what they could do for the team.
Right.
Meaning he had relational equity with all of these kids, and they did life together. And so I think that's a big thing for parents in looking for a program to send their kids to is the coach able to build that relational equity with my kid who I'm sending to this school? Is he going to invest in their, not just what my kid can do for the team, but in their life?
Yeah.
And is he going to build? Nick Saban is one of the greatest examples of this. Is outside of the football field, he invested in these kids. He met with the families. I mean, he cared about his players enough that when he had to get on them for something on the field, these kids had enough equity with him to receive that from
I
him.
knew where it was coming.
It was
from.
coming from the heart,
Absolutely.
not just because I needed you to perform, because I care about your life.
And getting the most, every ounce of talent and effort and everything out of each individual kid.
So I think that's something very important to look for in the program is what is the, and I guess maybe the better word is the culture of the team.
Right.
Are these kids and coaches, are they doing life together outside of practice, outside of performing at tournaments? Does this coach just want me for my gift? Mm-hmm. Or does he want me because I'm a good character? I have good character. I'm a good human being, and I'm coming to the team to bring culture and be a part of the culture that's there.
Sure.
That's right.
And look, if he just wants you for your gift, I mean, there's some kids that fits what they want too.
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like
sure.
It's not a deal breaker.
Sure.
Yeah, but if you're
not what
going to
we
go
wanted.
and be a Momo while you're there, right?
Right.
You may have a great gift, right? But if you're acting like a clown, sometimes that gift doesn't get to be
All the other
unwrapped.
stuff outweighs the
right.
talent,
Yeah.
whatever sometimes. Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you're more of an introverted person and you're not a big social person and things like that, that's okay. You can be a phenomenal golfer.
Right.
And there's certainly coaches that will see that. But in the recruitment process, you're going to have to be able to show it.
Yeah.
You're going to have to be able to show it, right?
Yeah.
And so getting back to the event.
Oh, yeah.
So just so that, because I got a little confused with this earlier, you said, there's four kids.
There's 4 or 5 kids.
4 or 5 kids
that are under 14. So this is a 14 and up tournament, just strictly because.
But all of the kids are going to get to be in that first day as well.
Absolutely.
It's just the 14 or the under 14 kiddos that can't play in the event.
They can only register for the clinic and the college golf recruiting forum, which is going to be like, that's the draw. The tournament is whatever. The tournament, and I don't want to say it like that, but to me, the most exciting part of this event is having the coaches there, and then the college golf recruiting forum, how to start the process, like the education. That to me is the most exciting part, is just imparting that knowledge to those parents and those players on how to start, like where to go, is because it is so overwhelming. There's just so much to this, and obviously it starts with being able to play golf and play good golf. But even if you're not the greatest golfer, there's still a place for you to play. I believe that wholeheartedly. It may not be where you want to play. It may not be your first choice. It may not be in Texas. It may not be in Oklahoma. It may not be in Florida. It might be in Timbuktu, Vermont. But there's a place for you, and you have to seek out those places
and use them as a stepping stone, man.
Hey, yeah, and
that's how you create opportunity in life.
Absolutely. But just educating the parents and the players, that's what's most exciting for me about this event. The tournament is great too, and I'm super excited about the tournament. But the tournament is really, because so many of these kids do not have a junior golf scoreboard ranking. They're so far behind in the recruiting process. and I talk to some of these kids, you know, and they're like, yeah, I understand. And I'm like, yeah, you say you understand, but you don't understand how far behind you are. Like, you really don't.
If you're not ranked, you're not on the radar.
First of all, you're not on the radar, period. And it doesn't matter. Like, you email these coaches, first thing they're going to do is go look at the junior golf scoreboard ranking.
That's right.
And they're not going to find you. And they're going to like, what?
Even if you're dead last on that list,
You're on the
because you've
list.
only played one event, at least you're on the list.
Right.
Right. And that's what's beautiful about your event is it's a ranked event.
Yeah, we've got, you know, so in order for it to be a ranked event, you've got to have USGA officials come and certify the results. Like, and I've got them coming.
Yeah.
Like, it's here again, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know to make this thing a ranked tournament. I thought, you know, we just have a tournament and we send them the results and they're going to rank it, right? Like, it's going to, no, I didn't know that. So as I dig into, you know, the process, you got to have a USGA official to certify the results, send an email to them saying everything is everything, right? So we've got that. But there's just so much, but the tournament is just to help these kids, one more 36 hole ranked event to get them to, you got to have 4 in a year to get ranked.
Okay,
And
so you have to play 4 per year.
Play 4 36
get on the board.
hole, yeah. And then, you know, you got to continue.
So what happened? That's what I was going to go
You got to
with.
continue.
If you play 4 and get ranked for that year, does it start over the next year?
No, I think you got to continue, you know, to keep playing more. And so you play a tournament today, right? And that tournament is on your junior golf scoreboard ranking until this same date next year. So it stays for 1 year. And so you've got time to continue keeping your tournaments up. But,
you know, and I don't want to jinx anything here. I hope this doesn't jinx anything, but I know a lot of people are worried about weather.
I think it's going to be good.
Dude, the weather's been great.
Yeah.
The weather's been great. It's been a little chilly, right? A little nip in the air, but for the most part, weather's been great.
Yeah, I think
we've been doing good there. So that's gonna be great. And just to make this perfectly clear, December 14th and 15th. The 14th is going to be the day that the college coaches do the forum and do all those exercises, and then have lunch, and then we have the speaking and all of that. Brandon's feeding you. That's part of the fee. Here's the coolest part, dude, is there's still room for registration in that. Yes, the tournament's full, 14 and over, but get in there. It doesn't matter if your kid's 10. Get in there and learn this process. There's still time to sign up for that.
Yes.
Right? And they can get in for that. Now, I want to get back to one thing. And of course, you're a buddy of mine, so I'm going to brag. But, dude, what you've done for these kiddos and for their parents over these last few months is just incredible, man. And you're. I've always known you're an amazing human, but this just puts the cherry on the top, right? What you're doing for these kids and their parents, man, is just awesome. You're paying it forward in the best way, and I want everybody out there to know. This is not an egregiously expensive event, number one, and he wanted to keep it that way.
Well, and in that, like, I do have to say this: the sponsors, like I've
that's what I was going to say.
I've got some sponsors that have made it to where we can keep it cheap for these kids.
Well, let's give them a shout out. Who are the sponsors that you have for this event?
You know, there's a bunch of them. There's Tank Logics is one. Anco Golf Carts is another one.
Yep.
Knighton Machine, Brian Knighton.
Yep.
You know, I tried to
Black Quail.
Yeah, Black Quail. This is huge. So partnering with those guys, I mean, they're going to give hoodies to each player.
It's like $110 hoodie.
$110, and they're sick, like super sick. And listen, they've got a great clothing line too. I mean, they're a West Texas owned, established operated golf clothing line. And when I talked to them and told them what we were doing, they were like 100% on board. Like, I didn't even get it all out. He's like, man, we've done more for way less worthy causes than what you're doing. Junior Galvan, that's the guy I'm dealing with at Blackwell.
Yes, sir.
Huge shout out to that guy. He's
Isn't
all
he
in.
a great guy?
Yeah, all
Just
in.
awesome guy.
All in. Al Escamilla at
Yes, sir. Rig ID.
Yeah, Rig ID, Midland Hat Company is donating all the hats for every kid. You guys, you Jared.
Well, we are gonna give a goodie bag out that's gonna include that hoodie and that hat. We don't want to take away from that at all. What those two men did for you is incredible. What they're doing for these kids is incredible, man. And it's so cool what you've put together. But there's one more thing. Brandon didn't stop with 8 coaches. He's trying to get 10.
I think we'll get there too. And
Clinton, he went nuts. You're not going to believe this. Go ahead.
So late breaking news here.
This is awesome. Here it is. You're going to hear it here first.
Here first. This tournament will be an Optimist International qualifier. And so what that means is the Optimist International tournament is held every year, Miami, Florida, at Trump National Doral there in Miami. So that place is so sick. Like it is.
And it's not just for one kid.
No. So, and the numbers, I've got to get with the Optimus International people and finalize the numbers. But I think it's the top 4 boys and the top 6 girls, I believe, is what that is. And so they'll be qualified to go play in this event, which is by the way, a huge event. It's a 3-day event, or actually, Sis and I went in the summer. It's held in, I think, end of July maybe, or
Is
something.
it safe to say it's huge?
It's huge.
Huge.
It's huge.
Very bigly.
So that's 20% of the field could qualify.
Yeah. So
Whoa.
Look at you, math guy. That was sweet.
they
Connor
held
would
a-
have beat me to it if I didn't say it just then.
Yeah.
they held a parent-child before the tournament started. So Sis and I got to play in that at the Blue Monster, which was
What a great experience.
amazing.
Wow.
And then it's a 2-day and a cut, but you're still guaranteed to play the 3rd day. You're just not in the championship field. You're in the consolation bracket. So I mean, you get three rounds out there. I mean, and that place is just, it's amazing. Like,
So, dude.
it's not the greatest. I will say this: it is not the greatest golf destination that I've ever been to. Pinehurst, hands down, is number 1. That place is just. You want to talk about electric? Like, it's just something about that place, nostalgia. Just it's amazing. But Trump Doral is probably second on the list. Like, no doubt. Where I've been now, there's a lot of places.
You've been some cool.
We've been some cool spots, but I haven't
Yeah.
been to a ton of different places. But
So potentially top 4 boys, top 6 girls will qualify to go to this
with an asterisk.
with an asterisk, right?
We got to confirm that.
Sure.
But
That's potentially.
I think that's the number. But
Yeah.
I've got to line all that out. Still,
Potentially top 4, boys, top 6 girls get to qualify for this international tournament
yeah, and it is
in
international.
Florida.
Okay, that's the key I was
Yeah.
going to say.
People from all over the world,
International.
kids from all over the world will be there playing.
Yeah.
Talk about exposure.
Well, and that's what I want to touch. Exposure, but also, dude, experience. Brandon said this one time. I don't know if you remember this in the hitting bay because it wasn't too long ago, right? But if you have a memory like me, you can't remember what you had for lunch yesterday.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
That's my memory.
But you said this to me, and I was like, man, what a great point you're making there. You said you and Sis went to test your chili.
Yeah.
and see where you were at.
Yeah.
Right?
The very first big junior event, it was between her 8th grade and freshman year. And we went down to Clubs of Kingswood in Houston and played in the Texas Junior Amateur. And that was exactly it. Hey, we're going to go test her chili. And I mean, she'd been, tearing it up locally at the NTPGA deal. And it was time to get out and go see that there's golf outside of West Texas. you
Yeah.
know? And oh boy, was there.
Yeah.
Boy, was, but the great thing about that, I mean, we went and we got whipped. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a different level. We got paired with this girl, Asian girl. Imagine this. This is going to be awesome. But she's got her swing coach there. She's got her mental coach there. She has a strength and conditioning coach. She has a nutrition coach. This is 13 years old.
How's she do?
Oh, balled out. I mean, we learned very quickly that it was a different level. I mean, Sis had a swing coach and it was not me.
Mm-hmm.
And, but
it was a different level of commitment though.
Absolutely. The nutrition coach, the mental coach, all those other things that I mentioned, that was me. And I'm like, that's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this body.
We're heading to McDonald's.
Hey man, you were on that elliptical.
No, we don't
today,
need McDonald's.
You were on that elliptical today.
I was trying to get summertime fun.
Yeah. But, you got it.
Like, that's just scary. Like, it's just like, you're like, man, it was eye opening for me too. Like there is golf outside of West Texas and there's a way, way different level here.
Yeah.
And, we've never, ran to that level. But this is something that I wanted to say earlier too, and it's in the same vein is, everybody wants to be an elite golfer and an elite athlete, but they're not willing to do elite things to get there.
Yeah.
And, the strength and conditioning deal, it's huge. If you're doing that, you need to be doing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
While you're in high school, because at the next level, you're going to be doing that twice a week.
That's right.
I mean, it just is. And you need to be learning how to practice on your own right now, because when you get to the next level, there's going to be a lot of practicing on your own, and you need to be able to do it efficiently and not just go out there and just hit 1,000 balls and, go hit some chip shots and go hit some putts. Like, it needs to be practiced with a purpose, and it needs to be worked efficiently. And that's what you're going to get from this clinic is these coaches are going to show you some drills, teach you some drills of things that you can do on your own, because in season, I think they're only allowed to have 20 hours of instruction in season. So 2 hours of that a week is strength and condition. Like, they're in the gym twice a week for an hour. Then there are 3-hour practices. I mean, you've ate up 20 hours. And so it's what you're doing after practice. Like, everybody's like, if you want to get great, I mean, Kobe said this, this dude was working out 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
He said, they'll never catch me. Mm-hmm. They're working out once a day. I'm working out 3 times a day. They'll never catch me.
Wake up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Go.
That was the first one.
Yeah. And then go home, eat, come back, noon, come back.
USA
4.
basketball, the guys they had just gotten up and they were eating breakfast, and Kobe walks in to grab some food. He's sweaty. He's already, and they're like, what's this man doing? He's like, I already been working.
Yeah. Well, y'all
And by the time y'all get to work, I've already been working, and then I'm going to work while y'all are working. And then when y'all go to bed or go out to play or do whatever it is you do, I'm going to be working again.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to do the things with my strength and my conditioning and all the stuff. And I think this, getting back to what you were saying earlier, about, and Clinton, you mentioned this too. You want me for my, my skill set, right? Just for what I can do. And I think so many times, especially in golf, you're just good, right? There's some kids that are just good.
They know how to get the ball in the hole.
Yeah, that's right. There's a kid that comes to mind right away This kid's name is Dylan Ford. You know who I'm talking about. Dylan can straight go, man.
Yep.
He's
He'll be at the
really
event,
good.
too.
And he
coming?
puts, yeah, that's what I was just about to say. He is signed up for this. I mean, guys, your kids are going to go up against the best kids in West Texas.
Well, they're coming.
And these coaches need to get their tails here to see that,
Yeah,
bro.
for sure. We've reached out the kind of the radius that we've reached out, and we've got them coming from as far as San Angelo to the south. We've reached out to players in El Paso, coaches, high school coaches in El Paso, to Amarillo Canyon north, and to Abilene east. And so, that's kind of the coverage area that. And shout out to Mark Bergen. He sent a bunch of emails to those. He's got access to those high school coaches. And listen, and I've personally called some high school coaches. I called the Canyon Randall coach. I'm like, listen, you need to get your kids in this event.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I don't think they got in. And he's got some kids that can go.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for real.
Amarillo High's got some good kids.
Yeah, everybody's got some good kids, and we've got them coming. Oh, we've got them coming. When I say as far as south as San Angelo, no, we've got some kids coming from Del Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so
that's incredible.
And
but now they get the opportunity to qualify for an international event.
That's
dude.
huge.
That
man.
is huge.
That's huge. And that'll be one of the big tournaments that they could play in the summer, and it'd be a vacation type deal too. Like
for sure.
Like you can go as a family and make it a vacation.
Yeah.
Like,
make it Disney.
And it'd be fun, and it'd be it's Miami. We're going to
Miami.
I mean,
I don't know the rest
I
of
don't
the
either,
song.
but it was
me, I'm mommy yummy or whatever they
we
say,
went,
right?
and it was cool, man. It was really cool. And and I don't want to say too much here, but because it's not solidified yet, but I'm working on some other things too, trying to make it a qualifier for a few other big events. I want this thing, like I said earlier, to be as big as the TL, and that's a tall order, man. Like I trust me, I know that place. That's an awesome event and a very long-standing event.
Yeah, but with what you've done already, dude,
we're on our way.
You're on your way.
We're on our way, but like there's still a lot to do. But the more things that we can add to make this thing a qualifier, I'd like for it to be an IMG World qualifier. I'd like for it to be a Nota Begay qualifier.
Yeah.
If we can make those things happen, it just makes this thing more bang for your buck. But shout out to for as much work that I've done and put into this thing, and it's not a pat on my back. I don't care about that. I don't want
day
that
one
at all. This is about the kids, and it's about paying it forward. All the things that I've learned, that Sis has learned through this process, it's about that. But I promise you, it could not be what it is without the sponsors that have gotten behind it. And I've left some of them off there. I have a list, and I should have brought it in here to where I could name every one of them. But, one thing that I'm going to mention when we get to this college golf clinic and recruiting forum is like, hey, look at these logos. Look at these places that have supported this deal. And if you have any ability to call out any work, I'm not saying give them all your work, give them a job. Support those people that have sponsored, that are supporting your kid's little league team. Like that's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you start talking about big corporations, so they're not going to get behind and support your kid's local little league team.
It's amazing that you're saying that though, man.
It's important, man.
Yeah.
And if you can give them a job, I'm not saying give them all your work. Give them one job.
Mm-hmm.
Make their sponsorship worth, what they did. And they're not doing it for that either. Trust me.
No.
I talked to these guys when I told them what we're doing. They're all in. Like I don't have to sell it to these guys. And I kind of talked to and went and targeted guys that are that own businesses, but that are in the golf community. Right? They're all in anyway. Anytime about golf, and then you do something for the kids, man. I mean, they're all in.
That gets lost sometimes, man. And it's a beautiful thing. And I could sit here until midnight and tell you stories of people that have come in here that have done ridiculously amazing things for people in this community. And you know, the West Texas family as a whole, man.
It's awesome.
If there's one thing about it, we love our kiddos, right? We want to make sure that they succeed and that they have every opportunity. But it's not just that. It's just for straight up just love of people, man. And you're exactly right. Those sponsors aren't doing it just to get their name out there. They're doing it for your kids and for you.
Yeah.
And because it's important, it's their heart.
Because what we're doing is, I mean, it's needed, right? Like we're in an underserved. West Texas is underserved as far as big tournaments, college recruiting, all those things. They see the need for it, and these, I mean, they've just been all in. Elevate, my buddy Brandon Fields over there, he's a sponsor. I'm trying to recall all these guys that have sponsored, and to give them some shout out. And we're going to put up a banner with all their logos on there, and you know, but I know that's not why they did it.
And I know you'll call them out at the event and everything else, man, because their sponsorship and really just their heart to give is incredible. You know, I remember several years ago there was a young man in Greenwood who had cancer. And I mean, you want to get me tearing up and stuff, boy, man, I just hate it if kids have to deal with that, bro. It's just not, it's one of those things. It's just, I can't even imagine that. But,
no kid should.
Bobby G, man, Bobby G and his crew at Green Tree, bro, they put on a 9-hole event and raised a ton of money, for this young man's family, just so that this young man could get the treatment that he needed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's this oil field, you know, I can't remember I don't want to screw up the name, but it's like Oil Field Warriors or oil field team, you know, basically that when someone's in need, they're there. Right. No matter what, they're there. And I've just seen that so many times, and man, this is no different. Clinton and I have a huge heart for this, as do you, obviously.
Yeah.
But, you know, how many times have we sat in here on this show and said, if you're not recruiting in West Texas, you're just wrong.
Maybe every show.
Yeah.
Might have been.
Yeah.
Might have been. Because it's just silly that coaches refuse to come out here for whatever reason.
Well, I think.
And we've been opening their eyes.
But part of it is kids don't know how to start the recruiting process.
You're right.
And don't know how to market themselves either. And so, but the other thing I wanted to say is, you know, this event's not possible either without these coaches that have jumped on board too. You know, the coaches that I've reached out to, all in, like
8 so far, right?
Yeah, 8. I mean, and they're happy to be coming. Like they're excited.
Could you name all the schools right now?
They're the draw. Yeah, but
could you do it?
I mean, yeah.
I think you should keep it a surprise.
Yeah, we probably should, because I'll probably botch it and leave one out, and then they're going to be like, "Dude, what's up? You didn't shout out my school." No, they would never. But every level, I've got a coach coming from every level:
Division I, Division II,
D3,
NAIA,
junior college,
and JUCO. He's got them all, bro.
And so, like,
isn't that cool?
Mm-hmm.
That should appeal. There should be some kids that can fit into, you know, every level at this event.
Yeah.
But those guys are the draw to me. The tournament is not like, that's why I was like, the tournament's whatever. The tournament is not really the draw. The coaches, the access to the coaches, that's the draw. The access to the knowledge of the practice, what a college golf practice looks like. Those are things, tangible things that those kids can take with them and improve their game and get. It's going to just help them get recruited if they'll be disciplined. You got to be disciplined in this game, or you get left behind. And that discipline is in all aspects. It's about reaching out to the coaches. You got to be disciplined in reaching out to them, sending emails, following up with them, those things. The draw is the knowledge that they're going to learn from the college golf recruiting forum. It's going to be huge. Everything college golf recruiting.
Well, and so many kids, and I just love the fact that they're going to do this workout for them, where they're going to put them in stations and do short game and all of this, because I've witnessed this, man, since 1997 when I first got into the golf industry. I remember being a cart guy sitting there watching the high school kids play, practice. And when I say practice, literally play around, right? But there was always one or two kids, and you could always tell the ones that were really good, right? You had the kids, some of them, they'd sit there and they'd hit that chip shot, and they just have to make that beautiful little finish. It was all about the pose, and they had to do the finish, and they had to do this. And they were more worried about that than they were what the ball was doing on the green, right? And then you had the other kids that were just hitting that ball on the green, and every time it was rolling to 2 or 3 feet, going in the hole, 2 or 3 feet, 2 or 3 feet, going in the hole. But here's the thing. I'll never forget this, because when Josh Duckworth came home from Camden University, I went over to his house. He was home on a visit during the holidays, and he was my best buddy growing up, right? And I get over there, and I'm like, so, bro, how was it? And this kid's looking pretty yoked. I'd never seen Josh as
physically fit.
He was always a real tall, skinny, lanky kid, right? And the thing that used to wear me out, bro, is he could go to Taco Bell and eat like a 12-pack of tacos and gain an ounce. Whereas if I ate a 12-pack of tacos, I'd gain 36 pounds, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Overnight.
Yeah. Just right there. Bang. And, but he had a really hard time gaining weight. Dude, he got to those workouts at Cameron, man. He was eating as much as he could eat. He started taking like the creatine and stuff like that to help build his muscles and so on. And dude, it was so cool to see the transformation of him, man. I mean, he actually had pecs for once, right? He was just, I'm telling you, dude could hula hoop through a Cheerio, man. And this kid just got big. And so he told me about the work. I mean, these kids were running. When they hit balls, they had to walk out and pick up their own balls, shag all their golf balls. Then they'd play golf, and then they'd go back. They'd have to go to the gym, right? All these different things when he got there, and it was a whoa.
Eye-opening.
Because in high school,
you don't know what you don't know.
That's right, bro. But at the same time, in high school, it was short game, go play. Short game, go play.
Hit on the range.
Oh, there's a range day. Yeah. Go play. It was structured, but at the same time, it wasn't preparing the majority for the next level, even the elite players. Yeah. There's so many of them that get there, and it's just an eye-opening thing. Like, whoa, this is different. There's a guy I watched a video on the other day, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he played for the New England Patriots. He was a safety, I believe, Brand or something like this. He was on Julian Edelman's podcast. And he was telling a story about when he walked on at Ohio State. And he said, this kid, by the way, prior to going to this walk-on at Ohio State, he was a rugby player. And he had played in the Olympics as a rugby player. And he's telling Jules, he's like, straight up, dude, I was in better shape than anybody there. I could go all day. All day. He said, but the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life were those first few days at Ohio State and those workouts. He goes, they were brutal. And he goes, oh yeah, I got tired. He goes, I didn't think it was possible for me to get tired. I didn't know. I wasn't in that kind of shape. Right. I was in great shape. And this dude was, they showed pictures of him playing rugby. He was huge. He played for the U.S. Olympic team, right? This guy was a massive dude, and he was in great shape. Well, Ohio State did this for two reasons. One, they wanted to weed out the kids that shouldn't be there, right? 73 kiddos showed up for that. 3 made it.
Made it.
And he was one of them. And he ended up being a starter there and, of course, made it to the NFL, so on and so forth. But again, it's just a prime example of the next level. And I don't care what program you go to.
Yeah, whatever.
The next level is going to push you. It's going to test you. And then you've got the other thing, the other side of golf, which is the mental.
The mental side.
When you get to a university and you go from being 1 or 2 on your high school golf team and you get to Division 1 or Division 2, Division 3, or even JUCO, NAIA, I promise you this, every one of them can go.
Yeah.
And if you're not mentally strong up here and you're not thinking that you've put in the work, or you don't know that you've put in the work, and then you get these workouts and then you go out there and, oh boy, shoot 68 and you shoot 82, what is that going to say? What are you going to be thinking? Mentally, you're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, why am I even here? Right? As opposed to, hey, I just had a bad day. I'm going to put the work in and I'm going to beat that kid.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And it's about, going back to, hey, we're going to get out of West Texas and go test our chili. Sis, she had been playing well here. And,
Absolutely.
when you're in Andrews and that have a tremendous golf program and you show up and you're going to win just about every tournament and, you're going to have a lot of chances to win individually. And so we knew that she wanted to go play at the next level. And so, you got to learn how to lose. Like, you have to experience not showing up to every tournament and being in contention to win. And so, like, that Texas Junior Amateur, that's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And going to some of these travel tournaments that we go to is exactly that. You're not going to be the best player in the field. And if you get a top 10 finish, that's a win.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that I think a lot of kids don't know, because they've been number 1 on their team and because they've gone and, racked up a bunch of tournaments and then played the one day NTPGA tournaments and racked up a bunch of wins there, and then get to the next level and everybody is good. And you come in with this false sense of, like, I am the man. Like, I'm gonna just whip everybody. I've been whipping everybody in the NTPGA deal, and you get there and it's a different deal. And so this helps prepare them, and they got to get out of West Texas, man. Like, there's a couple courses around here that translate, to golf courses that they'll play at the college level. Shout out to Odessa Country Club, the old course. That's one. And
Midland
Country Club, that's another one that would translate. But everything else is just kind of,
Ratliff can if it's windy.
True. Yeah.
Ratliff can if it's windy.
And Rockwind is another one.
Rockwind's another one.
They can set that thing up to have a lot.
Seminole's another one if they back the tees up for them.
Yeah.
And it's got a little wind because it's tree lined. For sure.
But a lot of courses around here are just not going to translate to the next
right.
level. And so you got to get out of here. You got to go play the best competition that you can, the best competition that you can go forward. And it's just going to make you better. Like, you're going to go see a different caliber of player and you're going to be like, man,
that's great advice, though, man.
I need to work on this. I see this kid, he's able to get up and down out of a bucket.
Yep.
Like,
you gotta learn how to lose, because you're making a great point there, man. Loss teaches you way more than a win does.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. If you have the right mindset of it. My daughter's only 9. She's got a good golf swing. But I'll give you a prime example, man. She was hitting on the simulator one day, and she hit the green multiple times. And she drops the club, and she's pissed. And I'm like, honey, what's the matter? She's like, it didn't go in the hole. Now, she had never played golf before. She's never played a competitive round. She has no idea that hitting the green is the goal.
Right.
The goal was to put it in the hole. In her brain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, girl, if you can do that every time, Daddy ain't gonna have to work no more.
No more working.
That's
for
right.
Dad.
But no, I'm saying, like, it's this mindset of, okay, well, the expectation is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win. And that's great. That's a good mindset. But you've also got to understand that there's a very high probability in a tournament field that has a lot of players that you're not going to win.
Yeah.
And you've got to realize top 5 in golf is great. Top 10 in golf is great. Top 15 in golf is great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And you don't think so coming from a high school or the, little one-day tournaments, because it's not great in those.
That's right.
Right? Does that make sense?
Sure.
And the expectation, it gets a little skewed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you get a false sense of what it really is, and it's unrealistic. And I can't help but think that there's been a bunch of kids that have gone to the next level with an unrealistic expectation to only get there and have a wake up call and then just get burnt out because they weren't prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They weren't prepared. They were big fish in a small pond, and then get somewhere and everybody is good. Everybody can hit it as good or better than they can, and then it gets a little defeating.
I'm going to say this. It's what I used to say when I taught years ago. I've taught this game a lot. And the thing I always would tell parents when they would bring their kid to me is this. If you're looking for a mechanics person that's going to sit here and tear swings apart and put them back together and give you all these quick fix Band-Aid things, you're in the wrong place. I'm going to get your kid right here.
Right.
We're going to learn the mental, and we're going to build a belief system in their move. We're going to define their move, and we're going to believe in that move. And that's what we're going to do. Because if you have that, you've got something great. And in golf, that's the most important thing, is that mental.
Sure.
And I think what's so special about what we're doing on December the 14th and 15th in Andrews, Texas, at the Permian Basin Junior Open, is we are preparing your kid from a physical standpoint in that tournament, right? We can get out there and we can physically compete. But we're also going to learn a very strong mental part of the game, which is going to be on the 14th with these coaches.
Yep.
What do I need to work on? How do I need to see it? How do I need to work on these things? How do I need to think about these things?
That's right.
When I'm on the golf course, how do I need to react to a bad shot? What do I need to be thinking as far as taking it to the next shot? And I'll promise you this, man, and I love the way you've structured this, because I think it's great that you've had the forum and the station workouts and all of that on the 14th, because you'll be amazed how many kiddos play above the level they've been playing on the 15th because they attended the deal on the 14th.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And you're going to see that. I guarantee it, because there's going to be so many kids. Some cream's going to start rising to the top, bro.
We're going to give them the tools that they need
Yep.
to get to the next level, to succeed and get to the next level. And some of them are so far behind, there has to be some realistic expectations on where they're going to go the next level too.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're a junior in high school and you're unranked and you haven't been reaching out, you're probably not going to go to OSU. You're probably not going to go to Oklahoma State. Is it impossible? No, because tomorrow you might wake up and shoot nothing but in the 60s. It's very possible. But having a realistic expectation of, the Power 4 conference, D1 schools, top 25 schools, they're probably a little out of the reach, maybe. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But we're going to give you the tools that you need to succeed, to get to the next level, to get recruited, and to start the process.
And here's the
and
thought.
improve your game.
Imagine an email to one of these 8 coaches that says, my name's Johnny and I'm from San Angelo, Texas. I've been playing golf since I was 7. And my high school scores are such and such and such. I'm ranked such and such and such and such. But I went to your event that was held at Andrews, Texas, the Permian Basin Junior Open in 2024. And in that year, from you and the other coaches, I learned how to practice. I learned how to be a great player, a great teammate, a great college player. Because of you, I'm writing this letter now
Reaching
to
out
ask
to you.
for recruitment.
Yeah, I want
It's going to go a long
to
way.
come to your, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, but I attended that every year until I graduated. And I think that coaches that see that are going to go, holy cow, this kid's committed.
That's right.
This kid wanted to find out how to get there. You know, I don't love all of his scores, but enough of them are good. I can work with
can
this
do
guy.
something.
He's
Yeah.
committed.
I can do something.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what you've set up. December the 14th and 15th, Andrews, Texas, Permian Basin Junior Open. There's still room, folks. Sign your kids up for December the 14th for that forum. The tournament is full, but sign them up
For the forum,
for the forum.
for sure.
It's I'm telling you, this is going to be invaluable information.
To me, that's the most important part of this whole deal.
Yeah.
The most exciting part.
Yeah.
Go to the forum, and then get on the list for next year if you want to play in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
By the way, are y'all going to do that?
yeah, we're gonna. I got to play with some dates. But I mean, it'll be moved to the summer next year. So I mean,
Okay.
we're 6-8 months away from having this thing again.
But are y'all going to have like where they can sign up again for it,
No,
or
we'll
will y'all just do a new thing?
we'll do a new sign up.
Registration will open probably after the first of the year.
Yeah, sometime. That's
Sometime,
closer
yeah.
to the event. I don't.
Sure.
I don't know exactly when that'll be, but
Next year's Junior Open, though, will be in the summer,
yeah, it will be,
and it will fill up quick.
And we're going to try to. I mean, obviously, we're going to expand it, and maybe, maybe drop down and take, 13, create another age bracket, maybe
Sure.
13, 14-year-olds eligible to play in it, and then, hopefully take all comers too, and hopefully we've got to reach out and find some other courses to.
I was going to
to
say,
host this.
I hope we have to have it at Andrews and then have another event at another venue just because we have so many dadgum kids. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Or move it around, maybe.
Just
I
gotta,
don't know.
and we might move it around too. And that's some other shout outs. Mark Bales at Aggie Tech, all in. Tommy Darlin, he's the golf pro there at Andrews, but he also has, shop team golf, all in. And just everybody that I've talked to, Smokers, George Molinar Jr., he's got Smokers Depot in Andrews, all in, like just everybody. But the hope is to move it to have it as big, and have multiple venues and send half the kids. Maybe that is Seminole and Andrews. Maybe we host them, there.
Heck
or
yeah.
maybe it's Odessa Country Club, or I just don't know what
Ooh, that'd be cool.
what that looks like. But that's the hope for the future. But I need to find some dates that we want this thing to grow and be as big as it can be, and we want it to be an elite event for the future. So we don't want to be on top of some others that kids go to pretty frequently. Like,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying? Like we don't have to compete. What we want to do is make this thing easy, accessible, easy, affordable, the highest value. That's what we want to do.
Well,
Make the
and I
best
want to
bang for your
reiterate
buck.
one thing, because I want this known, and you're so humble you would probably not say this in this arena, but Brandon ain't taking a penny.
No.
Okay. Andrews, they're not doing anything here. The money that's come in is to help pay for these coaches that are having to travel and to give them somewhere to stay, to feed them, and so on.
And for their time, because their time's
And
valuable.
for their
it's
time,
it's important.
right? But here's the other thing, man.
This is cool too. I think I know where you're going.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You got a bunch of swag that they're going to get, right?
Yep.
You got these sponsors that have given that. We're using the rest of these funds for scholarships.
Yep.
Your kid has an opportunity to qualify for a national event at Trump Doral. International event in Trump Doral. And to the winner?
First, second, and third in the boys, and first, second, and third in the girls.
Oh, you go. First, second, third, both sides scholarship money.
I'm gonna pay out some scholarship money.
Come on.
Go.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I mean, dude, does it get any better than that? Does it get any better than this guy?
That's what I'm saying. Like nobody else. Like I haven't seen another junior event like this. Like there's other things that are part and parcel to this. Like they might have a clinic in the whatever by itself, and then there's a tournament that's great that's by itself, but nothing like this all put together with everything that we're doing with the college coaches, with the forum, with the scholarships, with the swag. Like, dude, I'm super stoked about the hoodie. Dude,
it's $110 hoodie.
I get giddy over the hoodie. I'm like, man, I want one of those hoodies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's huge,
and
man.
if y'all can get me one of them hoodies, that'd be cool.
And the entry fee is $250. Like it's super cheap. You can't even play in a ranked event for $250. Like, you just can't.
Wow.
We've played them. It's
amazing, man.
The value, and that's just huge shout out to the sponsors, man, that have made this all possible. Like getting behind it. Like I cannot say thank you enough to those guys. And it wasn't like, begging them and all this. I mean, it was just an ask. Hey, this is what we're doing. And they're like, yeah, what do you need?
But just so you know,
Joe Barnes, Cannonball Services, another, they just keep rolling. Like, I just want to shout out to these guys, man. Like, just super thankful.
Well, we're going to have you back on, right? Right before the event.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down to come back.
Bring the list.
We're still taking sponsors too. Like we need some more coaches. And so
there we go.
If you want to get behind, this deal, hit me up.
Yep.
Perfect. And this is just, I know I said at the beginning, it's 2 weeks. This is happening next weekend.
December 14th.
Not this weekend, next weekend. This is happening next weekend. So when you're seeing this, there's still room in the forum. The tournament's full, but there's still room in the forum. Get in there. Go to the forum. Take your kids and from the surrounding area, DFW even. If you're watching this, bring your kids out here because it's going to be a life-changing event for them, especially in their future with college golf and beyond. You need to bring your kids.
Absolutely.
It's happening next week. We're very excited.
It's going down.
It's going down for real.
For real.
It's going down for real.
Man, we've already had a few songs.
I don't know that song.
Yeah,
you do.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
What song is
I'm going to play it for you after I can't because we'll get cut off. So another big announcement. Don't forget, we are giving away a fully sponsored trip to the Kingdom in California to one lucky subscriber. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, one lucky person is going to California, all expense paid, to get fit at the Kingdom and get a set of clubs.
Bro, I need it.
10,000 subscribers. When we hit it, you guys are entered. We love you so much. Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget, next week, the Permian Basin Junior Open. Get out there, get involved, and we'll see you again very, very soon.